All right, just a couple discussion topics. We'll give you a brief overview of the district, where our money comes from, how is it spent, how we manage expenses, and how we're planning for the short-term economic, the effect of the economy on the district. A couple things real quick here. This gives you a little overview of our operation here at Fremont. Obviously, we've grown quite a bit in the last few years. You can see we have 3 schools. This gives you a feel for how many students we have. With the new school, we actually increased our physical plant by about 50%. So, I mean, it was a huge increase. 2,140 students. We've gone up 30% over the last 5 years, or 38%. 230 teachers and administrators. So it's a pretty big operation. A couple things that we are proud of as far as finances. First of all, we've had balanced budgets for the last 9 years, straight years. All the things that you've heard about, we've been talking about with the last few administrators, we've been able to accomplish while increasing our fund balances and reserves, with the tax rate going down, and with enrollment increasing 38%. These are things we're proud of as a district that we've been able to accomplish and to provide for the taxpayers, and also have a very strong financial picture for the district. Where does the money come from? Most of it comes from local sources. We're actually pretty fortunate in that regard, because you've heard how far the state is behind $9 billion. Fortunately, we have a very stable property tax base here at Fremont, and that's actually to our advantage. And we have almost 90% of our funds coming locally. That is a good thing for Fremont. You can see the state is about 13%, and that's when you throw in the pension funds that they put in or don't, as the case may be. These are some financial challenges that we do see in the future. First of all, our funding locally is based on CPI, or the Consumer Price Index. As you know, this last year it only went up 0.1%, which is historically a low, well, at least since the Depression, one of the lowest increases in a long, long time, and that affects the amount of our levy. That won't affect us this next fiscal year, but it will affect us in 2010 and 11 quite substantially. The uncertainty of state payments. Right now we're owed $770,000 from the state of Illinois. We're hoping with stimulus funds coming in that they'll at least get half of that to us before the end of the school year. But they're in real deep trouble in the state. And then there's also a slowdown. There will be a slowdown in new property. As you know, we've been growing like crazy around here. The new property we've had lately has been really good for us, though. Del Webb, so you have houses, new property increases, but no kids, and you have Medline, which is a nice big facility, also increase in property taxes, but no children to the district. But those we see slowing down here. We have seen them slowing down for the next 2 years, and next year we won't have a whole lot of new property growth. This is a chart that we're also very proud of. You take some of the neighboring elementary districts you have around Fremont. We're one of the lowest tax rates of any of them. Libertyville is the only one that's lower by a substantial margin. And we're proud of that because we've been growing like crazy. We've had 2 referendums. We've, like I said, added 50% to our physical plant. We're real proud that we still have an extremely low tax rate for compared to our neighboring districts. Where's the money spent? Just like just about every district in Illinois, mostly on personnel. The biggest chunk there is salaries and benefits. We also have services. Those are types of things like cleaning the building that we contract out, food service, things like that, even some special ed services. Those are some of your biggest slices of the pie. But as in any educational endeavor, it's a very labor-intensive endeavor, and this kind of chart is one that you'd see probably in just about every district in Illinois within a few percentage points. How our expenses managed, this is something, again, we are also extremely proud of, some of the things that we've been able to do here at Fremont School District. With the new building, we were able to finance 30% of a $32 million project, not just this building, but new parking lots in addition to the elementary school, huge improvements to the middle school. We were able to do that, 30% of that project funded through local developer fees and interest income that we earned off of our bonds and those developer fees. So that is huge for the district and for the taxpayer, because you're not financing that extra debt over the next 20 years. Also, our tax rate has dropped When we first had a referendum for a tax rate operating fund increase back in 2003, the benchmark was $2.67 per $100 of equalized assessed evaluation. We're now at $2.43.50. That's after an operating fund increase, after building a new building with $22 million in bonds, and a 38% increase in enrollment. Our tax rate dropped over 20 cents. We're real proud of that. And also one thing, then Dr. Taylor has just been fantastic in working with local developers and with this Lake County partners to get the type of development that is good for Fremont School District. Part of that Medline was something that we had worked on together to get them to stay. They could have gone up to Wisconsin, but they have stayed in this area, and it was through Lake County Partners was very instrumental in that, and that'll be a huge tax boon for the district and for many, many years to come. Also, a couple of things we've done as well. We've installed fuel tanks over here, and we're bidding on gasoline now. That'll help us. You know, it's come down quite a bit, obviously, but it'll go back up, and that'll be nice for the district to be able to have that control. And our food service is a break-even type of situation. We have it guaranteed in the contract that if we go over budget, they'll make up the difference. So that's kind of a unique situation as well. A couple big summary points here. We have confidence in the fiscal responsibility of the district with 8 straight years, the highest financial category strength that the state gives for school districts. We've had the highest rating for 8 years in a row from the state of Illinois. We've managed expenses effectively, balanced budgets for 9 straight years. Tax rate has dropped actually 11% over the last 8 years, again with all the growth that we've experienced and the programs we've put in place. We've aggressively negotiated impact fee agreements and done some pretty unique things. You can thank Dr. Taylor for a lot of that. He's done a fantastic job in that area. And we've also worked together with developers, like I mentioned before, to have a good situation for the district in terms of growth that benefits the district. What are we anticipating in the budget for the coming year? Everyone wants to know what's going on with the economy and how that affects the school district. First of all, we are analyzing all of our supply and capital outlay expenditures, and we've done cuts and freezes in certain areas for the next 2 years. We do, like I said before, we've been able to add to our reserves, so we have a very strong reserve that can help us ride out some of those problems with the state not giving us funds. So we have a nice savings account to cover that type of thing. We've had some strong property growth here and high CPI, which will give us strong revenues for next year. But the following year, 2010-11, will be a lot tighter. But again, we have strong reserves and we have a good property tax base. And we're not looking at having to cut programs. And that's what I want to emphasize as at the end. No cuts are projected for increasing class sizes or affecting programs. So we're proud that we can do that. There are many local districts that can't, that do have to make those kind of cuts. And we're not projecting that here at Fremont. That's it for the financial news. I'm going to have Dr. Taylor come up here and have a little question and answer time.